promoting oral interaction in large groups through task-based learning. This article portrays a research made by 5 teachers at the Isabel II School. It was carried out to use task-based learning with a group of 50 7th graders. Their purpose was to improve their oral interaction, encourage and motivate them to express their ideas and interact effectively, exchanging opinions with their partners, and to teach creative and dynamic classes to help them to become interested in foreign language, because students rejected communication and didn't take advantage of the opportunities they were given in class. This study was developed in 2004 and was based on 2 different research questions. The first one was, could task-based learning be used to improve oral interaction and could it be effective? And the second one was, how can teachers handle interaction in large groups? Why interaction? Interaction is the central aspect of this research because it is such an important aspect inside a foreign language class. However, interaction inside a classroom tends to be sometimes difficult to achieve because students are shy or they fear to err or say something wrong. But interaction is strongly related to communication. And why? Because language is used with the immediate purpose of communicate the way we perceive, the way we give meaning, and the way we understand the world, and as well the way we build social relationships and interact with others. So, communication is important to create a real atmosphere in the classroom, interacting with others through the development of tasks. But to carry out in an effective way interaction inside a classroom, there is a huge problem. It is large classes. Inside the classroom, there is a large mixture of students. They all present heterogeneous ages and they have learning and individual attention difficulties. And furthermore, there are many students but not too many schools. For this problem, the 5 teachers who carried out this research created the technique of grouping. Grouping was used as an useful tool to reduce the negative effects of large classes, and students showed to be actively involved in classes, they were less bored, and they also practiced the language in a more active way. With this technique, now students were the center of learning and not the teacher. The teacher was just a monitor who controlled their advancement and their doubts and so on. Regarding the methodology of this research, they followed the following steps. The first one was to analyze the state of the art. The second one was to reflect upon the possible weaknesses found in the state of the art stage and some data collected in the different classes. Then they had to become aware of a problem. But which problem? The lack of oral interaction and the huge amount of students per class. Then they formulated the problem. After that, they chose a solution. That solution was to use task-based learning. Then they made a plan and considered the methods to get data. And finally, they analyzed and reflected on data collection in order to get their findings. The participants of this research were the youngest students of 7th grade. They were characterized by their active and enthusiastic attitude in class. They enjoyed participating in communicative activities, but they were afraid of speaking or reading out loud. They were also open-minded, and regarding new activities, they always tried to do things well. For the data collection, investigators used three different techniques. The first one was a pro forma instrument. It was used to write about important aspects observed in class, the stages of the study, and some reflections of the observer. The second one was class recordings. It gave them real evidence of students' interactions, of their communication, of their use of language, and of their advancements. And the last one was two questionnaires. They held them in two different stages of the study. The first one was held at the beginning, and it helped them to design the task, and the last one was held at the end of the study, so to evaluate and see their advancements. Now about the findings. This study was carried out in three different steps, and per step they found different things. The first one was called pre-task, and in that step they found out that the use of creative, colorful, or user-friendly material helps students to increase their vocabulary, understanding, and motivation. And why? Because that practice helped and encouraged students to feel more comfortable while speaking, because they left behind shyness and apathy. They also created a real atmosphere, and they were easily interested in communicating topics that were closely related to their lives, and as a consequence they improved their other interaction. The second step was called task cycle. They found out that instruction given to students individually were better understood than the ones given to the whole group. And in the language focus, they gave the students like an outcome to portray what they've learned in the whole study. So some students make a photo album, a weather forecast, they talk about past events, they talk about the text, they make a short presentation about an animal, and they talked about the story they heard in class. Well, and in this step students were more comfortable with themselves, and they showed less shyness and interacted in a more effective way. Now, regarding the group technique, observers found out that learners worked better when they were in groups or in pairs. They felt more confident with themselves. They easily talked about familiar topics, and they were more open to share their thoughts and their ideas, and they helped each other as well to improve their oral skills. They showed as well changes in their attitude regarding English understanding and learning. After carrying out this research, those 5 teachers concluded that task-based learning was an appropriate method employed to improve an oral interaction in large groups, because it was an enjoyable way for teachers and students to take advantage of the teaching-learning process. It was a success to take turns and to teach a class, because students had 5 different teachers who participated in the research and were dynamic with them. They taught lessons and observed the classes. Learners said that they learned more, and they had the opportunity to practice the English language in that study. Thank you.